All right, everybody. Happy Friday, February 28th. We are starting our daily readings with a reading from the Tao, and we're on page 38. True virtue is not virtuous. I think I read this yesterday. Hold on a second. Let's see. All right. Yeah, let's do it. True virtue is not virtuous. Therefore, it has virtue. Yeah, I did read this yesterday. I'm going to start over. Sorry, everybody. These in the past have attained wholeness. These in the past have attained wholeness. Heaven attains wholeness with its clarity. The earth attains wholeness with its firmness. The earth attains wholeness with its transcendence. The valley attains wholeness when filled. The myriad things attain wholeness in life. The ruler attains wholeness in the correct governance of the people. In effecting this, if heaven lacked clarity, it would be divided. If the earth lacked firmness, it would fly away. If the spirit lacked transcendence, it would be exhausted. If the valley lacked fullness, it would be depleted. If the myriad things lacked life, they would vanish. If the ruler lacked nobility and loftiness, he will be tripped up. Hence, nobility has lowliness at its root. The high has the low as its base. Thus, the king calls themselves the orphan, the lonely, the unworthy. Is this not taking loneliness as the fundamental, isn't it? In this way, you can bring about great effect without burden, not desiring the rarity of gems or the manyness of grains of sand. Okay, so let yourself meditate on that one for a bit. And moving on to our daily readings. Thank you for your patience this morning as I get off to a shaky start with the Tao. All right. Speaking of which, our first reading coming from the Course in Miracles, doing them backwards today, on imperfections. To see imperfectly is not to see at all. Our judgment of others comes from not seeing them as they really are. What we see mirrors our own imperfections. If we honored our own imperfection, we'd see only perfection in others. What we think we are, we see. What we receive from others, we expect. Upon awakening, we may look into the mirror and see a body we don't like. Our dismay lingers as we prepare for work. We think about the day ahead, and our mind wanders to a contentious coworker. Unfortunately, these thoughts may make us feel slightly superior. However, we have seen neither the coworker nor ourselves as we really are. Do we want to see what's really there? If so, we must ask for the better, true view, first of ourselves and then everyone else. If we're mindful about doing this, we'll begin to experience a very different world. I look, but don't really see. I will alter my view today. Yeah, I can relate to that reading in that our judgment of others really comes from the mirror that we see and the judgment of ourselves. And so let that be a reminder to say, I love you. I love you to you, to the body, to you. I love you. I love me. Say that to yourself a few times and get better at it. Okay, here we go. February 28th, starting off with a Hebrew proverb. Pride is the mask of one's own faults. Fear has many disguises. Sometimes it puts on sexy clothes and talks in the voice of lust. Sometimes it wears the mask of anger or greed or envy. And sometimes fear pretends to be pride. I'm smart and strong, we say to ourselves. I don't need help. Whatever I have to do, I can do alone. These are the kinds of things we say when we refuse to join a group or put off asking someone to be our sponsor or even confide in a friend. But is it pride or fear talking? Pride takes the illogical stand that in spite of the pain we've lived with for so long, we really are better than others. Fear, on the other hand, whisperingly suggests that others may be better than we are, so we'd be safer to hold back so they'll never know. Reaching out for any kind of help would make us vulnerable, but no one grows as well without support. Strength and pride aside, we need other people's input, insights, and encouragement. We need people we can trust to hold us accountable. We need to hear about their struggles and successes. When we insist on going it alone, it's usually not because we're more independent and self-sufficient than other people. It's because we're afraid. I need a community of peers for support. Yeah, so often we believe that we can do it alone, and we refuse to seek help, refuse to receive help when it's offered. And especially during grief, we shut ourselves in, we kind of dismiss others if they don't have the same kind of grief story that we have, they don't have the same kind of loss, and we feel that they don't have a hard time relating. But really, they're trying their best. And at the end of the day, our grief is really very similar. We think that we're so unique, but we all lose, and we all feel pain and suffering. So, all right, don't do it alone. And last but not least, from the language of letting go, our reading from February 28th begins with a quote from Ovid. We are slow to believe that which, if believed, would hurt our feelings. Oh, most of us in recovery have engaged in denial from time to time. Some of us relied on this tool. We may have denied our events or feelings from our past. We may have denied other people's problems. We may have denied our own problems, feelings, thoughts, wants, or needs. We denied the truth. Denial means we didn't let ourselves face reality, usually because facing that particular reality would hurt. It would be a loss of something: trust, love, family, perhaps a marriage, a friendship, or a dream, or maybe all of it. And it hurts to lose something or someone. Denial is a protective device, a shock absorber for the soul. It prevents us from acknowledging reality until we feel prepared to cope with that particular reality. People can shout and scream the truth at us, but we will not see or hear it until we are ready. We are sturdy yet fragile beings. Sometimes we need to get prepared, time to ready ourselves to cope. We do not let go of our need to deny by beating ourselves into acceptance. We let go of our need to deny by allowing ourselves to become safe and strong enough to cope with the truth. We will do this when the time is right. We do not need to punish ourselves for having denied reality. We need only love ourselves into safety and strength so that each day we are better equipped to face and deal with the truth. We will face and deal with reality on our own time schedule when we are ready, and in our higher power's timing. We do not have to accept chastisement from anyone, including ourselves, for this schedule. We will know what we need to know when it's time to know it. Today, I will concentrate on making myself feel safe and confident. I will let myself have my awareness of my own time schedule. This is a really good one because, so often when the concept of denial comes up, it's always usually a negative, right? We chastise ourselves or others for being in denial, for not accepting some truth. And I guess what this reading is teaching me is that denial isn't just something that to poke or your finger or blame someone at being in. But denial is a state wherein you are protecting yourself and maybe integrating lessons that you need in order to be able to one day face that which you're afraid of. So let's let that be our lesson today, that not all things that we perceive as negative immediately are negative. A lot of things in our life are multifaceted and have very specific reasons for being that way. And what this we keep on being reminded of is that things are the way they are for a reason. And if they could be any other way at this point in time, they would be. And so let be something that you take away from today. And have a great day, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you all have a great week. Much love, and talk to you all later. Bye now.